Hello, I had 3 wonderful days in Johor, enjoying myself with my old friend from Netball, Malaysia, Datuk Norman Shah. We had 3 lovely days of catching up, talking, enjoying each other's company because we have been friends for more than 30 years. Ngee Ann Poly is finally launching a campaign to make it disabled friendly. But we are such a developed country. Why only now? Why only Ngee Ann? People who are disabled should have been thought about and provided for since Singapore became a progressive and developed country. Why only now? I'm not surprised that Singaporeans prefer privacy to mingling with neighbours. When you get into a HDB estate where 80% of Singaporeans live, what do you see? You see paths that lead to the lift, and then people take the lift, they go upstairs, they go into the house, they close the door. The void decks downstairs are empty because there's nowhere for you to sit, nowhere for you to have a chat. You're not allowed to drink there, you're not allowed to smoke there. And kids are not encouraged to play there because instead of open field areas where people can loll about, there's always a hedge there, so the kids can't get onto the grass to play football or basketball or netball even. Some of the HDB estates that I have been to, I see in the void deck like a makeshift area where they put a cupboard, they have a cup of tea, etc., etc. Now, our authorities should look, why do these people do that? Because that is life. People want to have a place where they can sit down and have a chat and have a cup of tea. And then they become friendly to each other. And there's a little provision shop there where they can buy something to eat and the kids can play around there. But the way we have constructed it is so boring, so sterile, and therefore unfriendly and unneighborly. You know, when I look at a lineup of people who wins an award, and they're all men, and this is in cooking, it bugs the hell out of me. You know, there are many restaurants run by women, but none of them won a prize, which is ridiculous because women are supposed to be the main powerhouse of cooking. And yet, when it comes to awards, it's again an all men's lineup. The men just don't get it. Illegal pet breeders, woman got in the lake by a wild boar. What is the common denomination? The AVA is useless, they're ineffective, and they're not doing their jobs properly. Look, if you know that there are 7,000 stray dogs in Singapore, why do you still allow people to breed dogs? Why do you still allow people to import dogs, many of which are thrown away because they are expensive to bring to the vet? There are no cheap polyclinics for dogs and cats and animals, so people discard this. And the wild boars, why is it the wild boars are roaming around? The AVA and the ant parks have destroyed all their homes. I've lived at my farm for 15 years, and only now the wild boars are coming into my grounds, eating up my tapioca, eating up my sugarcane, and now they're starting to climb the tree to eat my jackfruit. So I put some warning signs to them with a picture of me and a bow and arrow because I intend to shoot them and eat them. But AVA should do something serious about looking at what is causing all these problems. Finally, we have a young person, no less than a minister, Desmond Lee, who has heritage at heart. He sees merit in heritage, in nature, instead of every piece of our land being plastered with a condominium, with a shopping center or an office block. And more than that, he even sees dragonflies. He just doesn't see dollars and cents like what many of our people in this country are doing. So I have hope that he will drive the AVA and the ant parks and the URA to look at our green areas with a different look. You know, you boys at SMRT and LTA are lucky that I do not travel by train, or I will definitely find an answer. I'll come to your office and give you one tight slap, because all you highly paid fellas sitting there and causing all these people to be late, causing all this misery, and not even having buses to pick them up and so forth, and forcing them to go into an expensive taxi. You know, I look at these guys, the two guys who are supposed to power the change. Mr. Alvin Kick, SMRT Senior Vice President for Rail Operations, and Mr. Chua Chong King, LTA's Deputy Chief Executive for Infrastructure and Development. And they were saying the signaling system will take so many months and so many months and so many months. I like to know whether they travel by the train, right? And what's taking them so long? Have they ever have hands-on experience as an engineer? If our highly paid Singaporeans in charge do not know what they're doing, let's get some Japanese engineers, some Chinese engineers, and some German engineers and get the job done. It is not fair for people to constantly have to be so stressed every day when they take the MRT. What a beautiful love story. They've been married for so many years. They met in South Africa and decided to make their home in Singapore. And when they passed away, they left 6 million to charities in Singapore. I really admire couples like that who've lived a good and useful life, and even when they're gone, they do something useful. My other inspiration for the week is this lovely Suhaimi, who's a 40-year-old with cerebral palsy who wants to gain financial independence. And I know there are people out there who need help more than me. How wonderful for somebody like her to think of others. I'm definitely going to find out how to contact her and see if she would like to join Bollywood Bakery. So we've come to the end of this season. I have a month off to go hunting, fishing, and looking at new ways to plant indigenous plants of Southeast Asia. But don't worry, you will still see me on the screen with little snippets of my life, and I will include a bit of the wicked ones in as well. And in the next season, there'll be some surprises. So do send in your name and telephone number so that we can call you, so that you can have coffee and whiskey with Ivy. And now, for my camouflage hoodie, so that the wild boss won't recognize me. Look out, wild boss.